This is a tutorial showing off a little utility I made for Civ 3 replay maps. To get this working, you'll need to download two files. First is tiles.png. And second, if you're on Linux, you'll need to download map, whereas if you're on Windows, which I am, you'll need to download map.exe. And you can save these wherever. I'm saving them onto the desktop. The only requirement is that they are both in the same folder. So if we go over to the desktop now, we can see that they're both here, tiles.png, map.exe. So to run this, it's really easy. First of all, we see we have some save files in a folder called saves. So we just do map.exe, and one of our saves, we can do world AI. And there we go. We have a nice, pretty looking replay map outside of the game itself. So there's a good number of flags we can set for optional stuff. Here's a full list. So first we'll look at frame rate. So the default frame rate is 6 frames per second, or 6 turns per second rather. If we want that to go faster, we can set something like 24, and then do it again. Now you can see it's going much faster. We also have X offset. So if this is useful if, say, you have a continent that's split in half by the map by default and you want to shift it horizontally. So we can say shift it by 30 tiles. So if we wanted the date line to go between the Americas and Eurasia here instead of over here. You can also shift it vertically with Y, although you'd only want to do that for a map that wraps vertically. There's also the stretch command. So by default, there'll be black bars so that the tiles aren't stretched themselves, but if you set stretch, then it'll fit the viewport, which is hard to tell here, but if we use a map like this one, you can see that it's kind of stretched horizontally. And finally, we have loop. So by default, once it gets to the end, it'll just stop, but if you set loop, and we go through one of these maps, let's say, and we'll see that once it gets to the end, it'll just start back at the beginning. So that's really all about it. Thanks for watching, and post any recommendations or requests you have below.